old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
You've been playing. We know already.
Speaking of reservations, I've been playing Panzer Dragoon because it's on sale at the moment on Switch, and I think it has been for a few weeks now. I think it's around half price. Maybe it's $11.24. I think that's what I paid for it. So I beat it this week. I started it on Thursday night and put an hour into it. Put an hour into it. I cleared the game in an hour. So I turned it on and was greeted by the opening cutscene and was sort of taken aback a wee bit because obviously this is a remaster of an old Saturn game, and the cutscenes are like clearly redone, but in a weird way it kind of felt like what those old cutscenes looked like on the old like PlayStation and stuff, where it's like obviously like better graphics than what would have been capable from the game, but they look like really odd, and that's exactly what it's like here. It's just like they feel really cheaply made, and like the frame rate, even of just those cutscenes, it was like stuttering constantly. It was really, really poor. I'm not sure, maybe like 15 frames a second or something. But like disregarding that, watched the cutscene and then started loading up episode 1, and I was sort of sitting there for a minute, and it was loading, unloading, and it seemed to take an unusually long time to load an episode, considering what it was loading. So jumped in, and the first level, I suppose it doesn't really like tell you too much. It's I suppose it's probably like a tutorial sort of a level, because it's very basic and very slow paced. So you have your dragon on the screen, which you can move around, and you have a couple of different control options. You can either like do it traditionally, like moving your dragon around the screen. Obviously it's on rails, so you move your dragon around the screen with like the left stick, and that also moves the aiming reticles about. Kind of think like Lilac Wars, that sort of thing. Or you can do like a modern approach where you can still move your dragon around with the left stick, but you move the reticle with the right stick, and then your shooting is done with the shoulder buttons. So I actually tried it with that method first, because I thought that seems like the way to go, so I can like independently move the dragon and shoot in opposite directions and stuff. And I done that for a couple of levels, and like I say, the first level was very slow, and you're done within about 5 minutes really. And the enemies come like a really slow pace, and like the second level is pretty much the same as well. So I was doing that, and you have different ways of like, you can either press the button, like keep tapping it to like shoot individual like bullets out or projectiles or whatever you want to call them, or you can sort of like hold it in for a bit and drag it over like a selection of enemies, and then like release it to attack all the enemies. It's kind of like if you've ever played like Rez on the Dreamcast or the PS4 update, it's like, yeah, you do the same in that. You move the reticle over the enemies and then release. So that's fine, slow pace, but it is what it is. But as the game sort of ramps up a wee bit over the course of the next few levels, I find myself not really comfortable with the control method I'd chosen, and decided to like go back to the traditional controls, where just everything, the movement and aiming was on the one stick, and I was able to invert it as well, so I could have it exactly like what Lilac Wars would be. But this is not Lilac Wars, unfortunately. Your dragon takes up quite a portion of the screen, and that can make dodging things very, very difficult. And the way the camera works is, the camera will initially be positioned behind your dragon, So you can look forward and you can see the enemies, and there's a radar like in the top right corner. So if there's enemies that come to your left or right, you can press like L or R to sort of like spin round 90 degrees to look in that direction. But once you do that, I'm not sure if there's actually any way of moving your dragon like you are able to whenever you're behind it. You can only shoot in that direction, I think. Unless I've completely missed it, but it makes dodging stuff like impossible from those angles. But yeah, like I say, even when you're behind, like it's just really impossible. And like I played through a normal and I died a couple of times. The game's not overly difficult. It is a wee bit challenging in places because like if you die, you don't like resume with like an extra life just from where you've died. You go right back to the start of the level. So if you have like the boss's health down to like a millimeter left and you just happen to die, you're back to the start. And yeah, the levels aren't that long, like I said, about 5 minutes or a wee bit more for each one. But like I almost can't believe how poor the overall game is. Like I expected an awful lot better. I sort of can't believe I spent £11.24 for an hour of, and I use this lightly, and entertainment. Yeah, it's kind of, in a way, like the structure is kind of like those Star Fox games where you go through the level, you take down enemies, and then there's a boss battle at the end. So the bosses are kind of okay, I guess. There's one you may have seen a tweet. It's like these ships that fly down, and it's like a big nose. It looks like that whatever way the sail is on top of the ship. But I can't recommend the game at all, even at the discounted price. And I know the game probably has its fans from back in the Saturn, and maybe it was more of a showpiece or something that was better looked on back at the time, but it's a game that just does not hold up in 2020.
Is there any incentive to go back into the game and play through it again? Like on the Star Fox, like we said, Star Fox 64, for example, like it was, you can go down multiple routes, can't you, by doing certain things in each level?
As far as I can see, there's no routes now. Maybe that's just me talking from inexperience or whatever, and having only played it once, but there's no multiple routes. The only thing that happens is you clear the stage, and then the end of it shows you like your the amount of enemies that you killed, like the percentage. So I mean, maybe wanting to try and get up to 100% is an incentive to go back. But you also unlock stuff at the end of the game, and I'm not sure what it is. I think it's called Pandoras Box or something, but it's not a menu item. It's not a menu icon that unlocks on the main menu. For some reason, it gives you a code to unlock the stuff on the menu. Now, maybe that is a throwback to what it was like on the Saturn. I have no idea. But you type in this code, and then it gives you like several options to like tweak what happens in the game, or whatever. Maybe in terms of like difficulty or certain other aspects. But I honestly can't remember off the top of my head, and I probably don't really want to spoil it for anybody anyway. But I don't personally feel incentivized to go back to it because I just don't think the game's very good.
How about you, Nick? You've put a little bit of time into this.
I did the first level and was completely and utterly appalled by the frame rate and the frame tearing. It is so bad. And I'm playing on PC.
And you're playing on Steam again,
I'm playing on PC.
Yeah.
It is it's honestly shocking. Like I haven't seen anything this bad since the Xbox 360. It just like the whole first cutscene on PC is just one big huge tear in the middle of the screen. It's just unbelievable. I mean, in gameplay it's much better, but the cutscenes are literally unwatchable. They're that bad. I thought it had been patched and updated, but clearly not. So I don't know what's going on.
Laughably, in the options menu, at least on Switch, there is like an option to tick performance modes on and off.
Okay, and does that improve it?
I did not notice any difference whatsoever. Like,
yeah,
shocking. Okay, one not to pay £11 for. I've been looking at that for a long time as well, interested in it as a Star Fox lover. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.